So in last lecture we have seen that the photochemical reactions are those reactions which are bring about after the absorption of photon of a radiation. These photochemical reactions are unlike thermal reaction are not going to be proceed if there is a absence of light. So the light is the necessary condition by which this reaction can be bring about. The photochemical reaction can happen only in the presence of a photon of radiation, and the difference between thermal and photochemical reaction we have already discussed. So today we are going to see a laws of a photochemistry which actually governs these all photochemical reactions. The photochemical reaction can be explained with the help of these laws. So these are called as a laws of photochemistry. Laws of photochemistry. The laws of photochemistry, today we are going to see the first law of photochemistry, that is Grathers-Draper law. That is Grathers-Draper law. This is a first law which governs the photochemical reaction. This is also known as a principle of photochemical activation. This is known as principle of photochemical activation because this law states that a photochemical reaction can be brought about only when after the absorption of a light. Hence it is known as principle of photochemical activation. Principle of photochemical activation. So this is we can say this law tells us about gives us a qualitative idea about a photochemical reaction. So this because it only tells us about how the physical photochemical reaction we are going to proceed. It's only happening after the absorption of quanta of the photon of radiation. So this law gives us about a qualitative idea of photochemical reactions. There is one more feature which is associated with it, that is, with the help of these laws we can explain the two most important phenomena, that is phosphorescence and fluorescence. The phosphorescence and fluorescence, these are the most prominent or important photochemical phenomena can be explained with the help of Grathers-Draper law. So, what is that phosphorescence? Phosphorescence is a process which is happening due to a absorption of radiation, and after absorption of quanta or photon of radiation, it again emits immediately. and it emits the radiation. And in this process, absorption and the emission of a photon is same, but it only differs in a time. One is the fast process, while another one is a quite delayed process. So these two phenomena, that is phosphorescence and fluorescence, can easily be explained on the basis of a Grotthuss-Draper law. This is a first law. Though it gives an idea about a photochemical reaction, that means it gives us an idea that only the absorbed component of light which is responsible to bring a chemical change. More specifically, the photochemical change can be happen only after the absorption of radiation, and this qualitative idea is given by this law, and there are some limitations which are associated with this law. That is the limitation. First limitation is limitation. The first limitation of this law is that if we look at the principle of the Grotthuss-Draper law is that only absorbed component of light is responsible to bring a chemical change. But at the same time, if we see it do not give us any idea about a quantitative relationship. It only gives us idea about a qualitative relationship. That is the quantitative idea or the quantitative relationship cannot be explained. Cannot be explained on the basis of this law. So the quantitative relationship cannot be explained on the basis of this Grotthuss-Draper law. So what is quantitative relationship? That means it do not gives us an idea about how much quantity of radiations or photons were absorbed and how much molecules were reacted, and this relationship cannot be explained on the basis of this law. It only tells us about yes, radiations are required for the particular photochemical reaction, but it cannot give us idea that if we can consider that 10 photon is responsible for a chemical conversion of a particular, if you say A is converted into P, and by doing so it requires a 1 quanta of radiation, and after absorption of this 1 quanta of radiation, A molecule is converted into P. So this quantitative relationship, one molecule requires 1 photon, or one molecule requires 2 photons, or 2 molecules requires 2 photons. This quantitative relationship is not established on the basis of this law. So this is the major drawback which is associated with this law. The second is the second limitation which is associated with this law is this law only explains a primary processes. It's only applicable for a primary processes. It's only applicable. But if we see, there are certain photochemical reaction after initiation of a reaction. Say for example, A is absorbing a quanta of radiation. It gives a excited molecule, and after excitation, this A molecule have a different kind of weights. We have already seen it in the last lecture that this A molecule might have been dissipates its energy and comes into its normal ground state. Another possibility is that this excited A molecule react with another excited molecule and forms a different molecule, or this A molecule gives its energy to another molecule and activate that particular molecule. So in this way, these secondary processes were not explained on the basis of this law. So this law is only applicable for a primary processes or primary photochemical processes, but not a secondary and tertiary processes. So this is a second limitation. The third limitation is that after excitation of a molecule, that is, if a molecule absorbs a quantum of radiation, it gets excited. Okay. According to Gratis-Draper law, after absorption of quantum of radiation, it gets reacted. But this is not the scenario at each and every time. Sometimes it reacts, and sometimes this energy can be dissipated in the form of molecular collision or other non-radiative processes. And if such is the processes were happening, this A molecule comes to its original ground state, and in this process that photon of radiation is get dissipated. So the third limitation of this law is not always the absorbed component of light brought a chemical change. It do not happen. Sometimes this energy can be dissipated and molecule comes to its ground state, but it do not always react with other molecule. So these are the limitations which are associated with the Grotthuss-Draper law. This is a very qualitative or preliminary law which do not give us an idea about quantitative relationship between reactants, or how reactants were absorbed that quantum of radiation and how much molecule were reacted and forms a particular product. So these are the limitations which are associated with this law, and these limitations can be overcome by means of another law which is also known as a Stark-Einstein law, which we have seen in a next lecture.